Hello, good morning everyone. How are you? I hope you are doing good. Okay, we'll continue with our class. Last class we studied about different types of tissues. We understand epithelial tissue, connective tissue, muscular and neural tissue function, right? So we have seen how epithelial tissue is uh, arranged, what is the structure of epithelial tissue, and how many types of epithelial tissues are there. This and all we have seen. Let us recap that very quickly, then we will move on to next types of epithelial tissue. Okay. So what we studied in the last class, we understand that epithelial tissue having a membrane called basement membrane. Epithelial tissue completely avascular. There is no blood supply. Okay. What else we studied? Epithelial tissue is divided into two types: simple epithelium and compound epithelium. Simple epithelium, how many layers of cells are there? Single layer of cells are there. Whereas compound epithelium, how many layers of cells are there? Multiple layers of cells are there. Simple epithelium again divide into we study, right? Squamous epithelium, cuboidal epithelium, columnar epithelium, ciliated epithelium, and pseudostratified. These are different types of epithelia which we studied in the last class. We started squamous, we completed. Then we studied about cuboidal. We are going to start columnar epithelium. Columnar epithelium. Okay. So let me write the same classification which we studied in the last class. Last class we studied about which epithelium? Squamous epithelium. We understand that squamous epithelial cells are having prominent nuclei. These are flat cells having prominent nuclei. Squamous epithelium also called as brush bordered. Sorry, columnar epithelium also called as this is squamous epithelium. Flattened cells are there. I mentioned that they are having wavy boundaries between the cells. That's why it is called tessellated epithelium. Okay. And if you notice their arrangement, how they arrange like tails on the floor arrangement. That's why we are calling it as pavement epithelium. Okay. Then we studied about cuboidal epithelium, right? Cuboidal epithelium, what we studied? Cuboidal epithelium is present in the thyroid follicle. Thyroid gland, you know, right? This is thyroid gland here above the trachea. Function of thyroid gland is it produce thyroid hormone, T3, T4 hormone. The T3, T4 hormones are required for what? For maintenance of BMR. What is full form of BMR? Basal metabolic rate. Okay. So why I'm telling all this thing? If you take a part of the thyroid gland and if you observe under microscope, it will look like this. Like which epithelium is present here? Cuboidal epithelium is present here. Okay. This cuboidal epithelial cells producing which hormone? T3 as well as T4 hormone in case of thyroid gland. So that is one of the location. What else we studied? We understand that this cuboidal epithelium also called as germinal epithelium. Why we are calling it as germinal epithelium? What is the reason? Okay, because germ cells are coming from that. We already studied inside testis seminiferous tubules are there. If you take the section of the seminiferous tubule, it will look like that. Again, inside seminiferous tubule, what is there? Some long cells and some short cells are there. Okay. So these short cells, these are cuboidal epithelial cells. What they are doing? They are helping in the formation of the gametes. Germ cells are coming from that. That's why we are calling that epithelium as germinal epithelium. Okay. So these are some examples which we studied in the last class. Same examples only I am explaining. Okay. Let me quickly recap how many types of simple epithelium are there. Okay. First one we already studied squamous epithelium. Second one cuboidal epithelium. Third columnar. Fourth ciliated. And fifth glandular. And sixth pseudo stratified epithelium. We will see all this epithelium. Last class what we completed? We completed squamous epithelium as well as we completed cuboidal epithelium. Okay, today we are going to study about columnar epithelium, ciliated epithelium, glandular epithelium. Got it? Okay, let us start it. First one. What is first one? Columnar epithelium. Columnar epithelium. In case of columnar epithelium, these cells are long pillar-like cells. They will describe like tall, slender or long pillar-like cells present on the basement membrane. How it is looking? Let us have a look. It will look like this. This is what? Basement membrane. This is basement membrane and this tissue present like what? Long pillar like this, like this, like this. And what is the position of the nucleus? Last class I mentioned, right? Cuboidal epithelium position of the nucleus is central, center of the cell, right? Here position of the nucleus is near to the basement membrane. This is basement membrane and nucleus is present near to the basement membrane like this. Okay, so how they will describe in the examination? They will call as long pillar like cells. Long pillar like. And second important point is what? Nucleus is present. Where? Nucleus is present at base. Or simply you can write basement membrane also. Nucleus present near basement membrane. That can be good. Nucleus present near basement membrane. Got it? Okay. So where we see this epithelium, what is the location of this columnar epithelium in our body where it is present? Answer is three locations majorly we will see. One is stomach. Okay. Second one is intestine. Third one is gallbladder. These locations, okay, inside you are checking, inside lumen you are checking, we can find this epithelium. Okay. Imagine this is stomach. Where? Here. This is stomach. And this is small intestine. Okay, inside stomach, which epithelium I mentioned, this long pillar like cell. What are these cells? Columnar epithelial cell. They are present here as well as they are present here. Where? In the intestine. I hope you know, right? Intestine is again divided into our intestine, again divided into small intestine as well as large intestine. Okay, small intestine is a place where digestion of the food will be completed as well as absorption of food takes place. Okay, when food is absorbing, who is helping? Columnar epithelial cell. Which columnar epithelial cell? These cells will undergo modification. Okay, so I'm writing here modified or modification. What is the modification we are speaking about? What is the modification? That modification is they formed villi and microvilli on their surface. Do you remember last class we studied about cuboidal epithelium? Cuboidal epithelium has undergone modification. They formed villi and microvilli on the surface. For what? What is the purpose? For absorbing more amount of nutrients, more amount of electrolytes, right? Similar way here, okay, in the small intestine, okay, small intestine, we know that food will be digested. After digestion of the food, that food is absorbed into where? Into the blood vessel. Okay, here blood vessels are present. So food from the intestine is entering into the blood vessel. This we are calling as what? Absorption of the food. For this absorption of the food in the intestine, who is helping? Answer is this modified columnar epithelium. Okay, so what is this again? How it is looking? It is looking like a brush. Okay, so we are calling this as what? Brush, brush, bordered, cuboidal or columnar? I said long pillar cell. We are calling it as a columnar epithelium. Where you are noticing this one? We are seeing this in case of small intestine. Are we clear? So conclusion very simple. We can see, okay, this columnar epithelium in three location. One is stomach, another one is intestine. This is small intestine. Okay, intestine and gallbladder. These are the locations of this columnar epithelium. Generally, cells are long and nucleus is present at the base. Okay. Next epithelium is the ciliated epithelium. Ciliated epithelium. Ciliated epithelium. Where we notice ciliated epithelium. Okay. Where we see ciliated epithelium, it is found in fallopian tube. Okay. If you see the female reproductive system, okay, this is, let's say this is uterus and this is fallopian tube. Let's say last part of the fallopian tube, and here ovary is present. Okay. Every month, menstrual cycle takes place in a female who completed her menarche. Okay, after reaching puberty, every month the menstrual cycle takes place in the female. When menstrual cycle is taking place, there will be release of secondary oocyte from the ovary. Okay, so that secondary oocyte is released here. This released secondary oocyte supposed to reach at a location, broad portion of the fallopian tube. This is called ampulla. Question me. What is the question? Why, sir, this secondary oocyte supposed to reach ampulla? What is the purpose? Why it is reaching there? Okay, because ampulla is what? A site of fertilization. Fertilization taking place here. Simultaneously, sperm will be entering into vaginal canal from the uterus, enter into the fallopian tube. Got it? So, egg need to wait in this location. Which location? Ampulla. But problem is, in case of sperm, there is no problem because it is having tail. It can easily swim. It can reach to the ampulla. Who cannot reach? Secondary oocyte, which is released into the abdominal cavity. This cannot reach that location. Okay. It can only reach up to here with the help of fimbriae. Okay, it will be collected. Ovum is collected. Problem is what? It need to reach to the ampulla. How it is reaching? With the help of this epithelium. What is that epithelium? Ciliated epithelium. Here cilia are present. The cilia will move in a direction. As they are moving in a direction, this secondary oocyte will be moving, okay, in the opposite direction. As a result, secondary oocyte ultimately reaches a location. This is called ampulla. Fertilization takes place here. Okay. Not only that, you can take another example. Sometimes we will inhale dust particles. Okay. So when we inhale dust particle, our body naturally try to remove the dust particle. Again, in the respiratory passage, respiratory tract, there is, you take one example, trachea. Okay. Trachea also called as windpipe. Here it is present. It inside you are seeing, na, it is having pseudostratified ciliated epithelium. Okay, what I mean to say, cilia are present. The cilia are moving. Movement of cilia sends the particle in certain direction. So it will try to remove. Accidentally, if you inhale dust particle also, our body naturally try to remove that dust particle. Got it? Okay. So that is the significance of cilia. Now question is how the ciliated epithelium is forming. Okay. Ciliated epithelium is modification of either either cuboidal epithelium or columnar epithelium. Columnar epithelium. Okay. If I draw a picture, this is cuboidal epithelium. We studied in the last class. We know how it will look. And this is columnar epithelium. long pillar-like cells are present and the nucleus is present at the base. Now what I am saying? I am saying that they have undergone modification. What is the modification? They formed cilia on their surface. You can see the formed cilia on their surface. Here also cilia on their surface. So I'm calling it as what? A ciliated epithelium. Ciliated epithelium is modification of either cuboidal epithelium or columnar epithelium. We have seen the function of ciliated epithelium helps in the movement of particles in a certain direction. That is the function of ciliated epithelium. Now let us see the locations. Which location this epithelium is present. Okay, location. The ciliated epithelium is present in fallopian tube, obviously. Where it is present? In the fallopian tubes. Where else the ciliated epithelium is present? Ventricles of brain. Ventricles of brain. You might be thinking, sir, ventricles we studied in the heart. What you're speaking? Brain? What kind of ventricles? See, in our brain, there are some cavities. Inside our brain, there are some cavities. Okay, why cavities are required? What is the necessity? That cavities of brain produce a fluid. That fluid is called CSF. CSF full form is what? Cerebrospinal fluid. Okay, the cerebrospinal fluid help in the transportation of the nutrients, helps in the transportation of the materials to the central nervous system. Got it? So that fluid is produced by this ventricles of brain cavities. Okay, that cavities purpose is that inside that cavity, if you notice, choroid plexus are there. Inside that choroid plexus, some cells are there. These cells are called ependymal cells. These ependymal cells also they are ciliated as well as they produce what? Cerebrospinal fluid. Clear? So that's why I'm simply mentioning ventricles of the brain. Inside ventricles of brain, choroid plexus are there. Inside that, ependymal cells will be there. They produce cerebrospinal fluid. So that is the reason it is one of the examples. Got it? Okay. Next, if they are simply asking ciliated epithelium, we can include a trachea also. Trachea. Okay. And bronchi. Bronchioles also we can add. Bronchioles. Are we clear with this? What are these? These are examples of ciliated epithelium. Okay, ciliated epithelium. Okay. So for what we studied about columnar epithelium. We understand how the cells are present and position of the nucleus very important for examination. Examples. What are the examples? Okay, modified columnar epithelial cell is there. That is we are calling as brush bordered columnar epithelium. Okay. Then we have seen the ciliated epithelium, cilia present on the surface as well as it is okay helping in the form movement of a particle in certain direction, and these are the locations of cilia. Okay. Next epithelium which we are studying, that is glandular epithelium. Glandular epithelium. What is this glandular epithelium and where it is present? It is again we can say that this glandular epithelium is modified. Glandular epithelium is modified cuboidal or columnar cells. Either cuboidal cells has undergone modification and formed as a gland, or columnar cells undergone modification and form a gland. So we are calling glandular epithelium. Got it? Okay. This glandular epithelium, there are two types of gland based on the number of cells. Okay. So I'm writing here based on number of cells, glands are two types. Okay, I can write here glands are two types. What are the glands? One is unicellular gland, another one is multicellular gland. Okay, one is unicellular, another one is multicellular. Okay, unicellular and multicellular. Unicellular, multicellular. Okay. You can ask me, sir, what is unicellular gland and what is multicellular gland? Imagine there is an epithelial tissue. Okay, what we are studying, like we understand that glandular epithelium is nothing but modified cuboidal cells or columnar cells. Correct? Modified cuboidal or columnar cells. Imagine I am taking one example. Okay, this is basement membrane. On the basement membrane, this modified columnar cell is present. I have taken two columnar cells. Okay, let us consider only one columnar cell. Now what I am saying, gland in the sense it will be producing something, right? Let's say this undergone modification and started producing something. Okay, let's say this is called mucus. It is producing this gland. I am giving one, two. Only this epithelial cell has undergone modification and it starts secreting its secretion. That's why I'm calling it as what? Glandular epithelium. Right? How many cells are involved in this? Only one. That's why I'm calling it as a unicellular gland. Example is very, very important. In our syllabus, only one unicellular gland is there. That is what? Goblet cells. What are these cells? Goblet cells. Examples are goblet cells. Got it? Okay. On the other hand, what are multicellular glands? Multicellular gland we can describe like this. Imagine this is modified. We'll take what, cuboidal or columnar? Let us take cuboidal. Cuboidal cells are there like this on the basement membrane, like this. And every cuboidal cell need not to produce its secretion. Okay, as I said earlier, who has undergone modification, they will secrete their secretion. Okay. So here these cells which I am drawing now, they have undergone modification. These cells started producing something. You can see they started producing something. Okay. Now this area has undergone modification, right? This is acting as a gland. Remaining part is there which is not acting as a gland. It is not secreting anything, but it has a role. What is that role? It is transporting from this location to the target, right? So it is acting as a duct. We are calling it as what? Duct. This is duct. Here we are talking about glandular epithelium. We are talking about glands. There are two type of glands based on number of cells. If only one cell is there, has undergone modification and say started secreting, we are calling it as unicellular gland. If multiple cells are involved in the secretion, we are calling it as multicellular gland. Unicellular gland example is goblet cell in our body. Then what is the example of multicellular gland? See, unicellular gland, I said only one present in our body, that is goblet cell. So remaining will be what? Multicellular gland. Okay. So example like salivary gland, pancreatic gland, thyroid gland, other things. Got it? Okay. So multicellular gland examples other than this unicellular gland. Okay, like goblet cell, all other glands are coming under multicellular, like salivary gland, pancreatic, intestinal. Okay, glands will be there. Succocentricus we will call like that. Clear? Okay, so this is about glandular epithelium. Glands can be classified into two types based on their pouring of secretion. So far what we are seeing, so far we are seen based on number of cells. Now what we are seeing based on their pouring of secretion. Okay, so first type is called as endocrine gland. Another one is called exocrine gland. Glands can be classified into two types based on their secretion, pouring of the secretion. Okay. Okay. One what I said, exocrine gland. Exocrine gland. Another one is what? Endocrine gland. Endocrine gland. Got it? Okay. What is this exocrine and what is this endocrine? See, in case of endocrine gland, they will generally produce hormones. In case of exocrine gland, they produce secretion, some other secretion. Okay, we will see it. We will see it. Imagine this is the gland. This is the gland. This is the target. Target means gland secretion need to reach that particular location. Okay. This gland produces something. Gland release something. What I said? It should be reaching to its target. How it is reaching to its target? It is reaching to its target with the help of a duct. Got it? So with the help of a duct, these secretions are reaching to the target. Clear? So this is what exocrine gland. This is how an exocrine gland looks. Clear? It produces secretion. It is reaching to its target with the help of duct. Best example we can take